What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with this physique update from Theo Aguerior, one of the best IFBB pro from France, who has had the privilege to step on the Olympia stage for the last 3 years in a row. Now I have got to say Theo and his strategy of entering the shows, that is so commendable because it's always so ideal. And that makes his chances of qualifying for the Olympia very high. So this time Theo has again confirmed that he's gonna be doing Italy Pro and then Germany Pro, which is happening in September, which are both one of the last Olympia qualifiers for this year. And if Theo is able to win one of those, he's gonna again qualify for the Olympia this year. And that is gonna be the ideal case scenario for him, because then he can just cruise into the Olympia. So the bodybuilding media as well as the fans, they are only concerned about the top 10 guys, and all these guys who place outside of that second call out, they kind of get overlooked, when in fact, just qualifying for the Olympia, that is a big deal, and competing against the best of the best, at the biggest bodybuilding stage, and at the highest level, that in itself is such a high honor, for any bodybuilder out there. Now Theo tagged Hassan Nasser in his most recent physique update. That means he's working with him for this competitive season, and that is the same guy who has been prepping Townsrophin for so many years now. Now as far as the physique goes, conditioning has been the least of Theo's problems. He is always very shredded and absolutely ripped to the bone. But the fact is he isn't the biggest guy on the stage. So not only does he lack in the size department, but he also doesn't have that wow factor. He doesn't stand out, especially in a bigger lineup like we have at the Olympia. So unless Samson Daudo, he once again decides to jump into one of those shows before the Olympia this year, just like the way he did last year, then Theo might get away with the 4th pro win of his career and also the 4th Olympia qualification of his life. And that, I must say, is a big deal. So just a few weeks into the off-season, and Samson Daudo is already just shy of 325 pounds, which was pretty much expected. This is probably one of the very few bodybuilders in the entirety of bodybuilding history whose body is just so comfortable, even beyond 300 pounds. And that is saying something. If you look at his meal plans, he doesn't even come close to eating the same amount of calories that a legend like Jay Cutler used to eat when he was chasing Ronnie Coleman. So the Olympia prep for Samson Daudo, that starts in July. So a good approach for Samson Daudo, that would be to start this prep a little earlier, so that he's able to bring that elite level of conditioning that the judges want to see on him. And also that is something that all of us bodybuilding fans want to see on Samson Daudo. So the question right now is that, can Samson get as shredded as Hadi or Derek or Nick Walker? Now his former coach, Milo Sorsev, always said that Samson just cannot get Hadi level shredded or as ripped as Derek Lansford, simply because that just isn't in his genetics. We all know he only has to get close to that level of conditioning, and with the kind of size that he has and that amazing structure, one of the best aesthetics out there, he is gonna be so damn hard to beat for every single one of them out there. Isn't that exactly what happened at the Olympia last year? He brought the best conditioning of his career, and that just sealed the deal for him, and he won the Sandow. Now the thing is, the results of this past Arnold, Ohio, that has made this upcoming Miss Olympia very wide open in the eyes of multiple top competitors. We saw Derek Lansford just beat Samson Daudo, and that too very convincingly, and then he almost lost to Nick Walker at the Pittsburgh Pro. So each of these guys, including Hadi Chopin, they will be entering this year's Miss Olympia with a very firm belief that they will be crowned the new Olympia champion. Now Samson has all the goods to repeat, to win 2 in a row. And if the man is ripped and dry as a bone, him and all of us do not have to worry about the size. He will be the biggest guy on the stage anyway. So if he comes in ripped, he is going to win that show hands down. Next up, we have an update from Can Vito. So great to see him back in the gym and training his back less than 4 weeks after he suffered from the lat tear that forced him to skip this year's Pittsburgh Pro. But this right here is a great sign, knowing that it was actually a minor tear. As Vito said, that he will be soon back to lifting heavy and hard, even in those back workouts. And we know back is that one area that Vito wants to improve the most before his Olympia debut this year. Now, it would have been such a treat to watch Vito in the Pittsburgh Pro lineup against some of the best guys out there. Now, we know he would not have beaten guys like Derek, Nick, or Martin, but all these other guys, they probably would have been in deep trouble. And Vito has a few shots, like the front double biceps, the most muscular, and the abs and thigh, which are absolutely world class. And he could probably give 90% of the Olympians out there a serious run for their money in those specific shots. Now, what we saw in Brazil from Vito, that just wasn't the best of him. And the people who say, Vito at 10 days out from this year's Pittsburgh Pro, he was looking way better than how he looked at the Honor Brazil stage. And it was actually one of the former Olympians, Jose Raymond, who saw him before the Pittsburgh Pro. And this right here clarifies that there is definitely some room for improvements in terms of the peak alone, let alone how much bigger and how much more muscle he can put on before the Olympia this year. So there is a lot of cushion for a guy like Vito before the Olympia. He certainly will be a contender for the top 10 finish at his Olympia debut in October. We know he has got the size, he has the aesthetics, and he has that massive stage presence because he's a very wide guy. Plus, his quads are probably one of the best out there. So a 100% peak Martin. He placed top 4 at his Olympia debut last year. So where would Vito place at his 100% at his Olympia debut this year? Behrooz Looking checks in under 3 weeks out from this upcoming Dubai Pro. So when Milo says that this guy is gonna scare some people in that first Olympia callout, there really is no exaggeration in that statement. There is nothing missing in that back double biceps. And notice how even the side leg that has started to gain more detail and more separation. Now, going by his reputation, Behrooz is gonna get absolutely shredded in the next 20 days or so. And it is gonna be very, very hard to beat him at this upcoming Dubai Pro, especially if he brings more fullness too. Now, he is always very dry, but he wasn't full and bubbly enough to beat a guy like William Bonac last year at the Emperor Classic Spain, which was their first show together. That being said, there is still no word about his US visa. The only thing we know is that he hired a firm to help him get through the process. So hopefully, Behrooz Looking is going to be on the Olympia stage this year, as he has already suffered more than even Hadi Choopan, and that is mainly because of his Iranian origin. So 2 important years of Hadi's career, they were wasted. And the fact is, Behrooz Looking has been qualifying for the Olympia for the last 3 years in a row. And he has been doing all those grueling preps just to watch the competition from the outside. So for now, Dubai Pro is like the Olympia for Behrooz Looking. So we are expecting nothing but the best from him this time too. So Peng Yunlong finally decided to make a comeback after almost 2.5 years, as the last time we saw him on a bodybuilding stage, that was back in 2022, and that was at the Olympia. Now for the record, he was competing in the 212 at that time, and it was just so evident that Peng was way too big for the 212 class. His update a few weeks out, they were so much more impressive than what we saw on the actual Olympia stage. And most importantly, his back was just so underdeveloped, and there was no way he could have improved a lagging body part with a weight cap hanging over his head while staying in the 212. So add Peng to the list of those guys who are gonna be competing at this year's Tampa Pro Men's Open Bodybuilding. So this guy has got one of the best legs in the entire bodybuilding, great overall aesthetics, and right now he's weighing about 235 pounds. So he's gonna be at the very least 8 to 10 pounds heavier. Now it seems like Tampa Pro this year, that is going to have an insane lineup. But this will be a great challenge for a guy like Peng Yunlong, and see how he compares with the pros in the Men's Open. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.